We got way more comments than or questions than I expected. All right, you guys ready to do this thing? You guys let me know when you're ready. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Q&A number 3. We just got done filming probably the weirdest episode of Break Like Reload yet. Anyway, felt weird. If you watch episode 11 after this Q&A goes live, you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyway, we did realize that we were going to have a shorter episode today filming-wise, so we decided to do another Q&A video because it was so long between Q&A 1 and 2. It was like a month or something, so we're trying to do it more often. So, we asked you guys to quickly ask us some questions on the Patreon page, which you did. Thank you for asking questions. So, are you going to buy the Super Duke for yourself? You need the track pack, your performance pack, and you'll have everything you want. Aaron, am I going to buy the Super Duke? Dude, I ain't got 18 grand for a motorcycle right now. If I did...
Still wouldn't buy a Super Duke?
Incorrect. If I had $18,000, I believe I would go buy a Super Duke right now.
Yeah.
After that first ride, yeah. I think that is probably, to this date, of bikes I've ridden, the most perfect bike for me. Between the throttle response, the seating position, and everything, it is an absolutely phenomenal motorcycle.
Remember you riding Duke in the past and saying that it was kind of a bit much of a hooligan.
So the 790 doesn't have the right weight to power. It feels too powerful. It's too light for how powerful
I'm not comparing to the 790. I thought you had ridden like an older Super Duke.
I rode a 2015, but they've refined it as a better street motorcycle.
That much more. Because I remember that first ride for the older Super Duke, you're like, wow, this thing is great. It's got way too much power to be streetable all the time.
100%. It was that. It was too much power, and it wasn't in a good package. So they've taken all that power, moved it around, and it's from a stopped red light to going is just
night and day
bliss the entire time. Highly recommend that bike.
I don't want you to say that if you had 18 grand to buy a Super Duke, you'd buy it now, because there's some stuff out there you haven't ridden yet.
Good
but
point.
I really
the
think
210 has come up often in the first ride comments.
It's a tough bike to get to, though, around here anyway.
Yeah, I know. We are starving for an Aprilia dealer up here in the Atlanta area. But as of the information I have on hand right now, if I had 18 grand, I would buy a 2019 KTM Super Duke R. But I don't. So, that leads us to the next question. If you could do any bike for Wreck Bike Rebuild, what bike would you build?
Well, let's get back to that first question real quick, because he did mention in here that you need this pack and that performance pack. And
so supposedly, in the video, one of the things I said was, what this bike really needs is a quick shifter. And everybody says that if you get the track pack, which if I understand correctly, is literally a download link for the bike, it unlocks up and down blipping quick shifter, and I'm like, done, son.
So that's one really cool thing that KTM does, is they put all the electronics that you could ever possibly want pre-programmed into the ECU.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And then you have to pay to unleash it so you could use it.
Well, camera companies do that too, like that. Not specifically that camera, but like one of the cameras we have out in the garage, the ones that sit up top. You have to pay to unlock the cinema profile for that camera. So that, I'm kind of used to the whole, you buy something and if you want to upgrade it, you just, can I get a series of numbers and letters so that my camera can do what it's actually able to do?
That's kind of weird.
It is a little weird, but such is life. But yeah, that's what the performance and track pack is. So if we could do any bike for Wreck Bike Rebuild, pick a bike.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of what. I kind of want to do the whole Street Fighter thing. I kind of want to get an older bike with less electronics and Street Fighter it. I got pretty attached to that whole thing when we were doing the.
See, that's the whole thing. That's how I'm thinking about it too. It's not what bike would I want to work on. It's what bike would we want to build.
Well, no, okay, that's the way I'm looking at it.
Right.
I'm not looking at it as like, do you want to do a 2017 Gixxer 700 or
Right.
750? I'm looking at like style. So I would want to do an older Super Sport and turn it into a really cool Street Fighter. I think that's kind of where I'm at right now. Got any thoughts?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say yeah and just look off.
No. No, I like to do some like really old, obscure, like Triumph or something like that, where, because I think I've kind of forgotten about how difficult the bobber was to do and how stressful that was.
You've already forgotten
I'm
the
way
nightmare.
past it. Yeah, I'm way past it.
Wow, I wish I had that.
Is he ready to get stressed again?
Yeah, I metabolize stuff quickly, so I'm done with like that.
Your brain works just like your body.
Just deleted the
Takes
memory.
in, does what it's got to do, and just shovels it out.
Yeah, some like really old Triumph or something like that, where we'd have to kind of like travel around to like different bike meetups and like swap meets and like source parts that way.
You want us to hate our life so
It'd be
much.
kind of cool. I mean,
It'd be different.
Yeah.
It'd be different than just surfing the internet.
That would be a hard build to record. I think that would be the real challenge.
Just drive around their van. We'd have the bike in the back.
Luke wants to do a road trip for Red
Yeah.
Bike Rebo. Like, all right, guys, we're in Texas today at Bob and Jim's. There's got a sprocket for us.
Wouldn't that be cool? Though?
Not Bob and Jim's, Bobby Jim's.
Yeah.
There you go.
He said
Bobby
Texas, right?
Jim. Right, exactly.
Two first names?
All right, so you'd want a cafe, essentially? Like an order cafe?
One of the original.
Like an OG, like not this fake shit. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so I want to do a Street Fighter, you want to do an old cafe. What about you, Brian?
Oh boy.
Style.
That's a hard question for me because I do like the challenge, like Luke says, of building something that's not just you could buy these parts wherever.
Right.
I do like the challenge of having to alter stuff. But like you were saying, getting that filmed would be difficult.
Yeah, see, it's a Wreck Bike Rebo bike to build. Like so it's asking for the whole process. It ain't like what would be a fun bike to build in your garage in your spare time over the course of 2 years. It's
Wreck bike, rebuild bike.
we got to come in. We got to, I don't know if you guys remember, but we filmed 8 hours some days on that bobber. So just
3 days in a row.
absolutely
So,
starting to sweat again already.
I like stuff that's purpose built.
What do you
Stuff
mean
that's
purpose built?
we tore apart a cruiser and we build a bobber.
Oh, okay.
That's what we were doing. Striving to do, and that's what we did. We built a bobber. Thing would be really cool to go ahead and build a cafe bike, and that was our focus.
Right.
And specifically, we built a cafe bike.
Right.
So anything like that is kind of cool to do. That you have a picture in your head
Yeah.
prior to the build, and your goal is to make it look like the picture in your head.
I will say this one thing. Do you guys remember when we knew we were going to get a Panigale, but we didn't know what we were going to do with it yet, and I wanted to make it into like a zombie fighting motorcycle with knobbies? Do we remember this?
I do remember you saying that you wanted to put knobbies on it.
That, taking a sport bike and making something absolutely ridiculous out of it, that's on the list too. I want like a gun holster on the side. I want like all of it.
Oh
like
my
just
God.
ridiculousness.
You can do it.
So purpose built, I think it would be really cool to build a drag bike.
Oh. We've gotten requests for a track bike before, not a drag bike though.
But like a road course bike.
You want like a Bosa.
Honestly, I'd like to make a drag bike out of a leader bike.
Which one? Do you have a specific one in mind? Like an engine platform to go on?
Not particularly. If you want it to be fast, it's either got to be
So you talking like stretching the swing arm and
slam, stretched, tucked front end, and everything on the bike is purposefully as light as humanly possible, and just for the thing to go as fast as possible in a straight line.
they're pretty cool. I do like I like the fact that we're all on the same page as far as like every bike has to have like a super specific purpose. Like it doesn't really matter what bike we start with or what we want to do to it, but like we have this like major like guiding force for the build. Like that ends up being the most like important thing to whatever build we want to do. We got a lot of bikes to build, boys.
There are a lot of different types of bikes for us to build. I mean, honestly, I think we should at one point in time do a wreck bike and just put the thing back to completely perfect bone stock.
We'd have. I feel like to be a challenge though, we'd have to get like a really up bike. Because otherwise,
I mean, the bobber that we built, that thing was tore up pretty good.
that was torn.
You know, not that bike would be really cool back to stock or anything, but you know, to take a bike that was, you know, mangled and rebuild it into something, you know, it doesn't have to be, you know, the most expensive parts in the world and anything that we could bolt onto it, but just to put it back to, you know, like pristine kind of, not quite OE, but really close to OE form.
I'd be interested to see how that runs instead of using the whole like flashy parts and stuff like that for the episodes.
Oh, we found a Frankenstein bike, like a 1995. It's got like the rear tail of another version of the bike. It's got the handlebars from this bike. It's got some glued on headlight. You know, it's got chopsticks for foot pegs.
You lost me at the headlight and the foot pegs, but
you know what I'm saying? Like, just you can't even recognize what it was before like 6 people started adding just tacky crap to it.
And it just started being passed along to the next unfortunate owner.
Yeah.
I got one of those bikes in my garage right now.
Perfect. How much you want for it? I like how we couldn't do like somebody that lightly wrecked a 2017 R6.
No,
it would have to be like this 95 piece of shit that
It would have to be like a good bike, you know, to start
a bike that deserved to be brought
like
back.
a classic.
That'd be interesting.
Maybe not even classic, but like, you know, there are certain years of certain machines that stood out.
Yeah.
You know, like in the leader bike world, a standout is like a 2003, 2004 GSX-R 1000.
Oh yeah, the little.
That machine was hard to beat. I mean, it was such an animal at its time.
I remember at that time, Gixxers were super popular.
Yes.
Like, all the fancy people had one of them.
When you know, super sport bikes were still pretty simple.
Yeah.
You know, Suzuki was hard to beat. But when everybody started adding all of the electronics to rein their bikes in so they were rideable,
right?
I think is where they kind of fell behind a little bit.
Interesting. That whole topic about Gixxers after doing some research would be fun to see when they, because like right now, at least for me personally, if we're talking super sports, like Suzuki is.
Well, the 1000 is there. The 1000, the leader bike, is very close to the leader bike group.
I need to be more clear.
The 600.
Suzuki's reputation is.
Okay. They made some pretty good steps forward with the 17 Gixxer 1000.
Yeah, I don't think their machines are bad. I just think like.
But yeah, they don't have the
social presence, I guess,
that they used to. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Yamaha's just spanking most of the.
Well, you know, they
now.
did some really cool stuff that nobody else is doing, and everybody likes it.
Oh.
You know, it's like, how do you get an inline 4-cylinder, a screamy, tinny inline 4-cylinder, to sound as tough as an R1 does? And it takes a complete revamp of the engine configuration to do it. So, you know what I mean? So that's some of the stuff that people totally dig about the R1. That and the fact that now it's very streetable, even though it makes as much horsepower as it does.
Yeah.
You know,
it's been too long since I've ridden R1. I need to ride another one soon.
That's a type of bike that, I mean, I ride a lot of bikes, a lot of different bikes, slow bikes, fast bikes, and in between bikes. And, you know, for a motorcycle to get my blood pumping is fairly difficult.
Yeah. R1 does that for you.
But when I get in an R1 and yank the throttle, it doesn't for sure. That, and then, you know, like the V4.
Such a good bike.
It was really, really impressive. I'm an Aprilia fan. So the RSV4 has always got my blood pumping along with the Tuono, but it's how it reacts, you know what I mean? That makes it so exhilarating. It's like you can get on it as a newbie and grab a handful of throttle and just hang on, and the bike does everything for you. It's kind of...
It's the technological motorcycle world we live in now.
It really is.
All right, that was the build. What's the color going to be for the Ducati?
We're not going to answer that yet.
Purple.
Yeah.
Oops.
Chameleon.
Oh, like that little shit that changes colors?
Well,
We're gonna wrap it in your-
what does Ford call it? Mystic. I think that's the color that Ford calls it. Their flip-flop paint.
Is it one of those, or is it something else? You'll have to find out on a later episode of Reg Mike Rebuild.
High vis pink.
Jesus Christ.
Could you imagine that thing coming down the
I
road?
sure could.
Just growling. You just hear it for like 6 miles.
Wow! You see it coming, you're like, it can't be that pink thing. Wow! Is it coming? Yeah.
If we did a bike and made it pink, we would have to make the bike so badass.
Like it is right now. We could totally put
R1M.
Right.
we could totally put pink bodywork on this 959 we're making, and it would be a badass bike in pink.
That's so sad. So we're
just a color?
We're not going to answer the question.
It's just a color.
I will confirm it's not going to be pink.
It's not going to be high vis pink. Not just pink. I'm not talking about bubble gum.
Yeah, you're talking like
I'm talking
highlighter.
your
like
eyes
highlighter.
start
Hooked up
burning.
to a
An
300
LED.
watt breaker. Just
There you go.
sizzling away. Dude. Just-
You have to recharge the second battery that runs the paint every time you ride it.
Yeah, the body panels are going to be made out of pure giant LEDs. Is the bike going to have a solo seat or a full seat and a seat cover? And are you going to flash the ECU since it's now less restricted, aftermarket wheels, or
Marchesini.
Marchesini or BST carbon? The bike is going to be flashed. We have a up mount coming in the mail, obviously because we got the new exhaust on there, so it would be not smart of us to not do a ECU flash.
That and the air filter.
Yeah, the air filter as well. So is it going to have a full seat or a seat cover? I don't remember what is in the fairing package that we're getting.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a cow.
I think so as well.
Yeah.
But I'm going to vote on cow. I think it's that, but we'll see what comes in.
Well, I'm a little confused by the whole seat, the full seat type of thing, because the seats, even if you have a rider and passenger, they're two separate.
I think they just mean, is there going to be
to have seats, a passenger seat. No, no passenger seat. It's not a passenger seat type of bike.
This bike is not going to be when we're done with it now. What's going on with the bobber? Good question. Get that a lot.
Totally floated right past the wheels. I like that.
We're not going to talk about
So these are
No.
Patreon people, right?
But they're not all 15.
They're not all 15. So you're not at the $15 Patreon level. We've answered that question already.
Yeah, we did. If you were on the, we're not going to tell you where we answered it because we put out a lot of shit on Patreon. But if you're one of the $15 people, you know what's going on with the bobber? The bobber is sitting in the garage. It's ready to go ride, and we're waiting on the government to give us paperwork so that we can go do a first ride on it. Until we do that first ride, I will continue to answer questions in the comments of Chase. Where's the first ride on the bobber? Chase.
I mean, it'd be nice to go and take it and ride it right now. It's roadworthy, but
I would love to do that.
if we get stopped, it's going to get impounded.
It's going to get impounded, we're going to go to jail, and none of that is fun.
Nope.
So, and unfortunately, it's the government. So they are going to take their sweet ass time, and there is literally nothing you can do to speed it up. So we're just kind of stuck in a hold pattern. When are more first rides? Example, Livewire, Thruxton, Royal Enfield. That's a good question, Brad. So I've had camera car issues for the last couple months. Been working on that. It's kind of got me away from doing first rides, but we're going to be doing more really soon.
Somebody actually wants to see you ride a Royal Enfield.
They have a newer one, right? I think they have a newer one. Sounds familiar.
So
I'm pretty sure.
do you know who Royal Enfield is?
British Air Company that makes planes or something. Or did make planes.
So Royal Enfield is actually an Indian motorcycle company.
Ah, well, I rode the Indian FTR 1200 the other day.
Not that Indian.
Whoops.
They are an Indian motorcycle company that went away a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And somebody came and bought all of their old tooling and started reproducing the Royal
Did that
Enfield.
person that buy all their stuff, are they British? Because I always thought Royal Enfield was a British company.
Well, you have to understand that India was, it's pretty much controlled by England.
Right.
It was, there were a lot of English people in India.
Right.
At least there was in past history. So Royal Enfield is obviously a very English sounding name,
Right.
but it's all based in India.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
So they have all this old tooling, and they were remaking motorcycles with the tooling from the 50s.
Oh, okay. That's
So
pretty cool.
they
So that's
were-
why they have the look that
they were-
they do.
Typically, well, they are new built 50s motorcycles.
Yeah. So and Triumph doing kind of the same thing with the Thruxton. They're taking their like old thing and
But what they're doing with the Thruxton is they're taking their old style and they're still building a brandy new.
well, no, that's what I mean. They're
You know.
like so. It's not it's not one for one with Royal Enfield and Triumph's Thruxton, but it's two bikes that are like newerly built that have like newer age tech that look.
But that's the
classic.
whole thing is the Enfield doesn't have new age tech.
It's not.
No.
Oh.
I mean, I think at one point in time they decided to use a throttle body that looked like a carburetor, like Triumph does. But besides that, it's still very old technology. That's like the most technologically advanced part on that whole Royal Enfield is the fact that it has.
Well, I'm sure there's a big community of people that like really want that kind of shit though. That like really dig the old style stuff.
I guess so. What a lot of people don't take into consideration is that, wow, it looks like a really cool old bike. No, it really is an old bike.
It's just a newly built old bike.
Yeah, so you kind of have to know how to turn wrenches to own one. Otherwise, the thing hardly ever runs.
So probably not going to be riding an Royal Enfield.
Well,
Thruxton?
there's no Enfield dealerships around here, is there?
Not that I know of.
I don't know if I've seen a newer release Enfield in the area yet.
I know one thing. I love the freaking Thruxton though. That thing looks.
Yeah, Thruxton's a cool bike,
awesome.
you know. But again, it's like they took all of their new technology and put it into an older looking machine. You know, whereas the Enfield is older technology into a newer machine.
Exactly. I think, like, personally, I feel like the Thruxton's the way to go if you want to go that classic route. Just give people their brand new ABS and brand new engines and shit and put it in the body of something that looks old. So that way you have something that can, like, compete in the market, but still have that kind of, like, nostalgia situation. Speaking of the LiveWire, I would love for Harley Davidson to give me an opportunity to ride that thing because I would shit. But if I got the opportunity, I would love to objectively first ride it.
I haven't even seen the LiveWire. I saw like a flash here and there on a commercial. But
30 grand.
whoa, that's a lot of dough.
That is.
That being said, the first few
You guys keep talking. I'm going to look up the LiveWire.
Zeros were ridiculously priced. Like for the first couple years, the prices were just astronomical.
Yeah, but that's because Zero was like pushing the market.
Oh my god.
29,700 for that. Not saying it doesn't look cool because I'm sure some people will think that looks cool. And like,
I mean, I like the.
It doesn't look-
like the thing I like about it is the tail. I wish mine
Right.
had
like
rear
the
like
nothingness that the
Yeah.
tail is. Right. So pre-order your LiveWire.
146 miles city range. So on the highway, that's like 110.
95 miles.
On
So
the city.
you want 95 highway.
Ooh.
No, wait, never mind. That's 95 combined. That's not even highway.
So highway, it would be
That's like
80
70.
miles.
Or
Yeah.
70 or 80
Bro,
miles
like
of highway.
coming in here and going home, I would have to recharge.
For $30,000.
You'd never be able to ride it.
No. Unless you
It'd be a
only
bar
rode
hopper.
in the city.
yeah, it'd be a bar hopper.
Which objectively,
like-
those bikes, the electric bikes, like the new Zero SR/F, in the city, fucking amazing. You cannot be beat unless there's like a Tesla or something, red light to red light, because you can just open all the way up and you're gone. But like, who's gonna spend $30,000
I
on a
wonder how
bike?
much. I wonder how
Somebody
much
that wants
weighs.
that logo.
That's another thing.
That's what you're paying for is that logo for sure.
They're probably not gonna have the weight on here because it's gonna be
It's gonna be
astronomically
absolutely
heavy.
ridiculous.
That is a cool dash, and the dash has the
That dash
GPS
looks
stuff.
exactly like a KTM dash.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not a bad dash. Is what I mean. Like, and Scout Rider
I
modes
don't
are
think.
good
I don't
shit.
think. I think there's enough companies out there making TFT displays, or the technology that, like the programs that power the TFT display,
Right.
that should be like a standard thing that just looks badass on all bikes now.
Customize your LiveWire, like, bro.
The front fairing, cool.
Right.
That's Harley's deal though. They make accessories for everything.
Yeah.
0 to 60 challenge. Wow. Like, bro, you can't.
Wait. They're challenging people to go 0 to 60 in 3 seconds?
Enter for your chance to win and test your skill at going from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. But see, that's the thing. Like with an electric bike, there's no skill involved. It's hold the bike upright so it doesn't fall and then tuck and go. And that's literally the only thing you do.
Yeah, but you and me have seen somebody on a 0 that thought they could do that and damn near killed themselves.
That's what I was thinking was going to happen. They're going to fly all these people are going to come out to the dealerships to do that, and then they're going to be on the news.
Yeah, I don't see. They don't have the weight on here, but those electric bikes are heavy boys. So, I mean, it doesn't. I do like the seat ish. Like I think it could be a little better, but
I think once they get to the point where they can run the motors in the hubs of the wheels,
you think that's when it's really gonna?
I think that's when it's really gonna take off.
Yeah.
If they can make a motor small enough to put in the hub of a motorcycle so it's got power front and rear, it's going to be a complete game changer.
Lightweight frame. Let me click into that and see how much the bike weighs.
Because then you can add all battery space.
Yeah, you can have a really long.
Battery
technology. I think there was just new technology discovered that will double the range. Like Tesla's starting to get created now, or in the next year or so, are going to have double the range that they currently have. So I think, like now that all these auto manufacturers are starting to move into the electric market, we're going to probably
see a lot more money going into battery technology.
Exactly. So, like honestly, I feel like we'll see battery technology really advance really quickly. But yeah, for that range, for that price, yeah. I'll ride it. I'd love to ride the LiveWire and objectively say how it is, but I mean the Zeros aren't cheap. I'm not saying that the Zeros are a cost-effective thing, because that Zero that I rode recently was like, I think it's like 22. So it's not way cheaper, but it has better range than all of that.
$8,000 is a lot of money though.
$8,000 can buy you a brand new motorcycle, and the Zero has better range than this thing does. So like,
they're entering the market a step behind.
Yeah, and charging more.
And charging more money for it.
I just think like if Harley would have put that out like 2 years ago for that price, I would be like, okay, fair enough. You got something brand new, but like you can't come into the market that one other company has just like already done better than you a year ago.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Good luck, Harley. I wish you well.
Do you?
No.
Okay. Just check.
I got bad taste in my mouth. I went to a Harley dealer one time, and that was the only dealer that I got treated worse at than a Ducati dealer. And I'm like, and that put me off for the entire brand. So I'm like, yeah, no.
They put Brembos on it too. And they got those Michelin Scorcher tires.
Michelin Scorcher.
And an inverted fork.
Mm-hmm. They went kind of half in, half out. Like they put the rotors that mount directly to the wheel instead of like the free floating ones.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that they're not floaters.
It's like they didn't consult like a sport bike.
They put radial mounted calipers on a solid rotor. Sweet.
Brembos.
That's yeah. Okay. That's enough said right there, honestly. I didn't even notice that.
As we said, Harley, we wish you the best.
You're almost there, fellas. You really do need to ask. You really do need to ask some other people out there in the field. It's obviously it's okay if you borrow an idea here or there that everybody is already using. Because honestly, to put a solid rotor in a radial mounted front brake setup it's like sacrilege almost. It's like backwards.
Yeah, there's a lot on this bike though. There's a lot. We could make an entire video on this.
Okay, let's continue beyond the LiveWire because we could smash that thing to pieces for hours.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to Tyler's question. What are the future plans for Wreck Bike Rebuild? Do you plan to move to a full set someday or stay in a garage? Will the crew ever be expanded? I mean, we would love to have a full set and be working not out of my 2-car garage, but it kind of depends. When you expand into a full set, which would be like a garage space, suddenly the amount of overhead being the amount of money it takes to run just the show. Right now, we don't have anything other than like the parts and the working costs. But suddenly, if you get into a shop, you got
insurance,
you got insurance, you got the utilities, you got a separate internet you have to pay for. So, I'm not saying we won't ever get to that point. I think all three of us are unanimous in the fact that we would love to have a dedicated space, but it just kind of depends on how the show goes, how much support there is for the show, and all that kind of stuff. So, who knows? I would personally love to. I assume I'm not talking for myself.
Yeah, no, I mean, having a dedicated space would be pretty sweet.
Luke wouldn't have to be like in the corner filming on the 16 like this.
It'd be nice. It'd be really nice. I love that.
That's what's sad about all the people that just watch the show and don't watch the build stream. To see, like, the garage is not big, and you have the widest lens that I own, and you're still like, you crunch into a corner to get a full shot of the bike.
I got behind the air compressor that one day.
Right. But if you watch the build stream, you've probably seen that before. Okay, so what is the life expectancy of a Honda Goldwing as far as mileage goes? If it's been well maintained, looking to buy a 95 Goldwing with 85,000 miles. Should I be ready to please the motor and trans? You ever worked on a Goldwing that's got 85,000 miles? Holy shit.
12 miles?
A little bit.
No, but I've seen wings with that many miles on them that were not nearly as old as that.
I mean, to be fair, it's a Honda, right? So, like, Hondas are not exciting, but...
So that's a 95 Goldwing, so it's 1,500. And it's also carbureted. So I would honestly expect to have to spend some money on the thing to make sure that it stays in good running condition.
So he needs to go into that knowing he's going to spend...
I don't know if he's got to go inside the motor quite yet, but why is somebody that has had a Goldwing for 85,000 miles getting rid of it? I mean, that's kind of an important question. I get it if they want an upgrade, but if they put that many miles on that machine already, they're kind of used to it.
Yeah.
So I would have to imagine that if they're getting rid of it, it's because there might possibly be some issues that are expensive to repair, and they're trying to just get out from underneath it. So be very wary. I would want to see all of the maintenance records, and then find the shop that it goes to, and take the VIN up there and be like, "Hey, what about this?"
Yeah, that's a good point, just to make sure that you're not going to
buy somebody else's headache.
Yeah. Especially if it's like a good deal, like, homeboy trying to be like...
Nobody's going to ask a lot of money for a wing with 85,000 miles on it. If you're trying to get into that, that big touring bike scene for a little bit of money, it's kind of hard. Touring bikes are expensive, and there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in that package.
I cannot even imagine with a freaking Goldwing with all the shit those things can do.
You take off the front shroud, and just the amount of stuff that's going on underneath it is mind-blowing.
No, thank you. Not going to be doing a Goldwing wreck bike rebuild anytime soon.
No.
That's what we're saying.
Nope. Too expensive. You think the Panigale parts are expensive?
Goldwing parts?
Well, Goldwing parts because there's so many of them.
Oh, right. So the sheer amount of them. You're messed up now.
I know.
Dan asks, Luke, what's your PR for bench press? Why isn't it higher? And what do you plan to do to improve it? He also thanks you for your willingness to sell your body for our motorcycle parts. I don't know where the selling your body for motorcycle parts comes in.
I think it's a good meme, though.
Okay.
It makes me chuckle every time I see that.
So, what's your personal record for bench press?
My personal record for bench press is 225 tons.
Okay. The true question, though, is why is it not higher? Is it like
you guys are gonna maybe start going back to the gym? Don't go to the gym. So I'll get on that for you guys.
Okay, so it's not a gravity issue; it's a gym issue.
Yeah.
So great. Okay. For Brian, what is the hardest mechanic's job to have done on a motorcycle? What type of work on a motorcycle do you love and hate the most? Pretty.
Okay, let me go back to the beginning. Hardest mechanic's job. I mean, the deepest job that you could do on a motorcycle is either the transmission or the crankshaft. Like replacing engine cases has got to be the most difficult job you could do. You pretty much have to strip the bike all the way down to nothing, and then you have to strip the engine all the way down to nothing, and then there's the back and forth between the size of the crankshaft versus the size of the engine cases, and then which bearings need to go in, and how many of which bearing, and which colors do you need. Colors, yes, colors, not numbers, colors. Boom.
Wait, what? I zoned out. What did you say?
Yeah.
I had to look away because I'm I was getting
out.
cold sweats from the bobber days.
So having to do engine cases is probably it's probably going to be the most difficult mechanical job you could do.
Jesus.
What bikes do I hate working on the most?
What type of work on a motorcycle do you love and hate the most? What's your favorite thing to have to do on a bike?
I really like doing full services on bikes that are wiped out.
What do you mean wiped out?
Like a bike that's got 30,000 miles on it and has never seen an actual service. It's only had oil changes done.
Oof.
You know what I mean? Because when you're done with that thing, it's new.
Right.
You take a 10-year-old bike with 40,000 miles on it and you kind of just like strip it down and replace bearings and repack, stuff with grease and retorque everything. And you get into all of the maintenance stuff in the engine where it's valve clearances and then throttle body synchronization and then cleaning up and lubing all the cables so everything moves the way that it's supposed to, and fresh tires and all that stuff, and
right.
You put the whole thing back together and it rides like a brand new machine again.
Interesting.
It's very
rewarding.
It's very rewarding to get to that point where you've taken a bike that is almost not rideable and making it feel new again. That's cool. I like doing that stuff.
Do we answer the question about the tires for the Ducati?
Tires for Ducati.
Scroll back up.
I know what you're talking about.
That's when we were talking about Royal Enfield.
Right. So to answer that question, I'm pretty sure we have Conti signed on to give us tires.
We're putting Contis on that?
Supposedly. If Conti doesn't come through, we'll probably put a more sporty tire on it. If I was going to personally choose the tire, it would be something like a oh my god, what are they called?
Who makes it?
I can't remember. But you know what I'm talking about? The tires that don't have as long of
Super courses.
Something like that. Like expensive, really sticky tire.
No one's that on mine.
Sure. Yeah, they don't last long though, right?
That's pretty much what like a Panigale S comes with.
Yeah.
And
So
that's what it should come with.
I agree. So if the Conti deal doesn't work, we'll do something like Super Courses.
We should put Super courses on it regardless.
Conti does make an equivalent tire.
Yeah. So we'll see. Regardless, it'll have a more sticky tire on it because it needs it.
So was there another part to that question? Did I get to all of it?
What type of work on a motorcycle do you hate the most?
Recall work.
Why do you hate recall work?
Because it don't pay for shit.
Oh.
And usually recall work is, 6 out of 10 times it's a Band-Aid. It's not an actual fix. So
you're sitting there doing it, it doesn't pay well, and you know that it's a shitty way to fix the problem the majority of the time.
Yep.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Even more than that, I hate getting a bike that needs a whole lot of work and then somebody only chooses to do one piece of it.
Yeah.
That's tough for me because it's like, well, why would you bother doing that? It needs all of this.
Especially when you're
going to spend the money to do this while it's on my lift.
Right.
While I'm working on it. You don't want to do the rest. I mean, I get it. Sometimes it's a little bit outside of people's ability to pay for stuff like that. But if that's the case, if you're in that situation where the bike needs a whole bunch of stuff and you can only afford to do a tiny piece of it, take it home, save your money.
Right. don't do it until you can just knock it all.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, you take the bike and you have a tiny bit of work done to it, and you've spent this money, and then you take it home and you stick it in your garage because you still can't ride it.
Right.
Or you ride it and it still feels like shit.
I can imagine that would be super frustrating
It's really,
as a tech.
It's really frustrating.
Are you going to do any more fan meets? And if so, what's the time frame you're looking at? Pause. Jason, yes, we're doing the big yearly Georgia Moto Meet on August 3rd in the Buford location of Mountain Motorsports. So starts at 10 o'clock. Should be a good time. You should come. You mentioned before that it is possible looking into doing a shop with a studio. Is there something you're still wanting to pursue? Yeah, we kind of already answered that. Yes, we want to, but it's a really big step, so we got to be careful when we do decide to make that step. As a nude rider, what are a few things a person should learn to do mechanically on their own?
Check tire pressures, clean, lube, and adjust your drive chain.
Oil change on that?
Oil change, and how to properly adjust your cables.
That's pretty much it, right?
Yep.
I mean, if you can do all those things, then you're...
You have the basic of the basics down. You have the safety basics down. So.
Right. Probably knock that out. You got any additions to that one? For all, what is your dream bike? For Brian, can you wheelie your cruiser? If so, prove it. I love the way these questions are.
From a mechanic's point of view.
Yes, I can.
From a mechanic's point of view, I don't like the wheelie stuff.
Oh, because you know the terrible damage it's probably doing?
Not all that, beyond other things, especially trying to wheelie a cruiser. I mean, there's no light and easy way to put down the front wheel of a bike that weighs 700 pounds.
I'm just thinking of
heavy bike.
I'm just thinking of a cruiser coming down, and nothing about that sounds like a good idea.
You know what I mean? Dude, don't get me wrong, you could wheelie cruisers, and I've seen people out there hanging hella wheelies on really, really big cruisers.
Yeah.
But you know, the amount of wear that it causes for me is really just not worth.
So we're not going to see you wheeling.
I'm not a wheelie riding type of person. And then that being said, to boot, motorcycles really don't have a whole lot of contact patch.
True.
And to cut that in half for fun, for me, doesn't sound like fun. That's just how
WR250.
That's just how I look at it.
Fair enough. You don't have to like wheeling, but if you did have a dream bike, what would it be?
I don't think I have one.
Really?
Yeah.
If you could be given a motorcycle right now by any manufacturer.
I mean, there's some stuff that I would take, but I wouldn't oh my God, and fall down in tears because somebody gave me something.
You don't have to.
Yeah,
you don't have to fall down in tears.
I don't have that visceral response to any one machine.
You don't have a response to where when you look at it, you'd be like, that's pretty cool. I think I'd like to ride that.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff it's like that.
Well, give us some.
Give us one bike that
question.
you really appreciate.
Yeah, just give us a couple. You don't have to narrow it down.
It is easy.
So I would really like to have a brand new Tuono.
Okay.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I would really like to have a brand new Dragster RR.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's the one with the little exhaust. Yeah.
Triple pipe, spoked wheels on
That would be probably one of the far more bikes. If you got that bike, you would be the dude with that bike, in your area.
Absolutely.
What was that bike we saw at Cycle Gear?
Oh, that
Husky.
The Husqvarna was a 701.
Oh, the Supermoto?
No. The
Vipilin. Yeah.
Did you like that?
Not really.
So that thing is a freaking Super Duke 690. Do you know that? It's a Super Duke 690 with a different look.
I did not know that.
Yeah. If you don't know, I've ridden the Super Duke 690 and I hated it. So I was super excited because I'm like, Vipilin? I can't even say it and it looks awesome. And I started looking into it. It's like, yeah, it's basically a repackaged 690. And I'm like, fuck.
It looks really sweet though.
I agree. And as a guy that is very into the looks of motorcycles, I was very excited. But that's how much I didn't like the 690.
What's the smaller version that they make? You know what I'm talking about? Like the 400? That just looks like an absolute hoon bike, man.
It does. It looks like a bicycle wheel.
It looks electric.
Yeah, right?
It does.
It looks like a Grom on steroids.
That's what I thought it was, like a mini half bike when we saw it out in front of Cycle Gear.
Yeah, Husqvarna really messed up, man. They should have used this body to really push the electric market because, like,
They still can.
no, I mean, like, come out the gate with that being like their electric bike. That'd have been a good move.
No.
Actually, this bike wouldn't look like this if it was electric, because if it was electric, they'd have to use all of this space for the battery.
Yeah,
and they'd
it would just be
end
a
up
cover.
using all of this. Like, it wouldn't be able to be so short, and it wouldn't be able to be shaped like
Well,
that.
the gas tank is, they can raise the battery all the way to the top of it because it's just a cover at that point, right?
True, but like, I feel like part of the allure of this bike is this thin little sitch.
That's very true.
Because if you started blocking all this in, I think you're going to miss out on some of that shape.
Absolutely.
I think that's why I like it. It's the same thing as the LiveWire.
Yeah, I mean, I like
that?
I like I said, I love the way this bike looks, but from what I've understood, they ride terribly. If we had a Husqvarna dealer, I would love to ride one.
What's this? The Svartpilen?
Svartpilen?
To the right?
Oh.
To the right?
Oh, Svartpilen. Oh, the Vitpilen is the 401, and then the Svartpilen is the 701.
Okay.
This is the one that is a Super Duke 690. This guy.
Really?
Uh-huh. What the hell is... Y'all, that looks like a fucking Chinese scooter.
It looks horrible.
That looks so bad.
What they do?
I don't...
Why you do this?
Why would... Who... Vitpilen's they want to charge double the price for this? The other one was 6 something. This is 12.
Yeah, that's true.
Bro, no.
What was the bike you and Brian rode? Was it the Desmo?
Oh, the Desmo Sedici.
Uh-huh.
Super cool bike. Wouldn't take one though.
Really? Just to have it?
No, because I like to ride my stuff, and that's not one of those bikes that you could ride all the time.
What's this thing
Cost of
called?
maintenance?
Oh, this is one of the ones y'all had in the shop for a while,
Yep.
and you were like, look at this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is a sick machine. I mean, if that's the case, I mean, the new V4 is just a better version of that bike.
Really? But that has no electronics, right?
It has ABS
Okay.
and fuel injection, obviously, but that's about it.
I mean, I look at this bike and it's like, it's cool and all.
Till you ride it.
I mean, maybe, dude, but look at the seat. I mean, I've got thicker cardboard out there.
Till you ride it.
All right.
Dude, honestly, I can tell you, you don't care that your ass hurts. You really don't.
Really?
All right.
You don't care, not even a little bit.
Talks like this, but then don't want it.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fun to ride, but for that exact reason is why I would not want to have one, is because I would want to ride it all the time.
And you would know how much money is being shoved out
And
of
I
your
mean,
pocket.
it's like I'd ride it and I'd have to take it home and rip it apart and put it back together again and then ride it some more and do the same thing. It would be, it's like them Harley riders out there that their bike is nothing but chrome and you ride it for an hour and you clean it for 2.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? It's like, not my favorite cool bike. I wouldn't want to have one because I'd want to ride it and would feel like that I was wearing it out.
Yeah. Wait. Pause.
So they make a Vitpilen 701 and a Vitpilen 401.
Svitpilen.
And then they make a Shitpilen 701.
Okay, so yeah, we were incorrect. There is a Vitpilen 701 and 401, and the uglier one is...
The Shitpilen.
Has both as well. It has a 401 and a 701, doesn't it?
This one definitely does look better, but I'm now wondering, like, is this the one that's based on the 690?
They probably both are. It's the same machine with different bodywork on it.
Because, I mean, the bike looks really cool, but maybe they torqued. I mean, because you can, if you, like, change an engine up, like, the slight shit of it, like, you can make an engine better. So maybe they took a 690 and made it a lot better, like, motor-wise. Maybe.
I mean, if it's actually 701 cc's, I don't know what the actual cc's are for a 690.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the 401.
Really? Mm-hmm. Interesting. You don't
Because I
think
have the big dumb horsepower out there. I don't need. Like,
Oh, you're saying in
mid-range.
addition to the stable.
Yeah,
Gotcha,
I'm not
gotcha,
getting rid of the
gotcha.
monster. You high?
Can't be. I think this bike would be uncomfortable to ride though. Like, look at that straight ass line. You're gonna.
It seems like if you slam on the front brakes, you're going over the bars.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
like
'cause
nothing to stop you.
Yeah.
Right.
The bars are so low.
Yeah.
Your seat is so high.
I will personally say I think this looks better than the Ford.
Yeah, that's like polished aluminum, so you like your legs aren't touching that. Like you're like squeezing against that, you're just sliding right off, dude. See ya.
Okay, so dream bike. This little boy. That looks such like a play bike now.
That's
after
why.
seeing the
That's the only reason I
701.
think it's cool. It's not worth $6,000. I
No.
could get a Grom.
Yeah. You can get a couple Groms. You got a dream bike?
Just outside in the driveway.
No.
Fair
We've
enough.
had a couple conversations about that.
What?
That his dream
that,
bike is outside in the driveway.
Okay, so
And,
this is an interesting topic though. For somebody that currently owns what they would consider as their dream bike. Okay, so our dream bike situation, since we had to create a artificial like situation for Brian, dude comes up and is like, "Hey, you can have a bike, any bike out there that you want."
It's sitting in the driveway.
Okay, but you already got
You already
that.
have that one, so
you
what's the
like,
next one?
So I get another one.
Yeah, you get another.
Oh.
You're gonna get another monster.
I haven't ridden.
I'd like another monster that I have just in case something happens to this one.
Like I said the other day, I think the V4. I'd like to take it out for a spin and see what it's all about.
Yeah, it's a.
Either that or the Triumph that we were looking at when we saw the Dragster. It was like I showed you that one
The
Triumph.
Thruxton.
Yeah.
It was a newer Thruxton.
Yeah. So I think those look really cool.
It'd be a good other bike to have to the Monster too, because they would be two totally different purpose bikes. Like
Yeah.
the Monster is just like a beast, and then the Thruxton would be this like cool, like I ain't gonna go so hard in the paint bike.
Well, my Monster is like my all around. So I don't know if I would go for like a specific, like a sport bike.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to think about that one a little bit.
Well, only because of what I've recently ridden.
I think my next bike would be or my dream bike would be a cool bike. Like just like it's really cool to look at. It's really fun to ride.
That'd be a Thruxton.
Yeah. So I think that's right on the money.
Yeah, there you go. Thruxton's a good dream bike, but I mean that's Super Duke.
I wouldn't mind having a EBR SX either.
The one EBR that I rode,
I remember you getting off that thing and your eyeballs were this big
well, like
because you were like, dude, it's like I don't know what you did. You do this, and it just I don't know.
Was it really
You
like
know.
that?
I rode that and I was just not.
Not feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, I will say going into it, a lot of people talked EBRs up a lot. So I think it was one of those situations where I came into it like, these are the most amazing motorcycles that nobody knows about. I'm about to ride like a secret agent, man. And then like, it was just not what I wanted it to be. So
I mean that is a rider's bike for sure.
I'm not a rider, I guess.
Like that's
I think I've proved it.
that bike is like purpose built for somebody that really wants to have to muscle their bike around.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, to each their own, you know. But I'm currently in love with the Super Duke 1290R, so track package. Dude, I want that blipper. I want it bad. Question for Brian: what is a good 7-inch headlight brand to replace my incandescent bulb? Other question for Brian: how satisfying is it to yeet Chase's stuff around his garage saying not my garage? P.S. headlight is for a 2014 Honda Shadow.
I wouldn't. I guess are they asking for an entire headlight or just a bulb? I would just replace the bulb with an LED one.
There you go.
You know, I wouldn't try and replace the entire housing. I'm not a real big fan of that crazy headlight that you put on the Monster, which is an option. You can get a headlight that will fit into that housing that's just like that.
Oh, okay.
I don't particularly like them. I mean, I get that they're, you know, they have a lot of cool stuff in them and they have
Right.
like, you know, leaning lighting and all that other stuff, but I don't really know what brand is a good. I don't have any LED lights in any of my machines, so I haven't really done any research on who makes a good one and who makes a bad one. I could tell you I prefer the LED lights that are all in one package. They don't have a separate ballast connected to them. I like them when they're all in one package like that. They're just a little bit easier to install and tuck away.
Like the ones on the ZX10. They came just good to go and just.
Yes, there was no added ballast to them. Didn't we get 2 different headlights for the ZX10? The original one you got was different, or I don't remember. Because I remember having this conversation before about the ballast and LEDs, but.
I think we might have got a pair and then sent them back and got another pair without any extra shit.
I think that was kind of what happened there. Yes, I absolutely love Not My Garage. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Not his office.
But typically the stuff that I just kind of is all junk parts anyway. I don't really throw around anything that's important. I don't throw around tools unless I'm really, really angry. Yeah, I do enjoy Not My Garage.
Yeah, Not My Garage.
I think it's kind of fun.
You read this next question while I text Manny back.
What was your favorite wreck bike, rebuild bike to work on so far?
420.
And then he follows that question up with, what's the bobber status? So we've gone over the bobber status already today. So we're going to move beyond that question. Favorite wreck bike, rebuild bike to work on so far? How about you?
So that's kind of hard because, like, the ZX10 was just so thrown off.
Stammered.
The ZX10 was, I don't, other than the frame damage, I feel like the ZX10 came together pretty well. Like, we got way thrown off when the hole was in the frame, but I don't think there was any, like, oh no, there was
all kinds of.
There's that ECU crap.
And the wiring harness and the quick shifter bullshit and.
God, I forgot.
You know, has there been a bike yet that was been on Wreck Bike Rebuild that was not a nightmare at the end? Because even like the Monster had some issues with the lighting.
Right.
And then the ZX10 had issues with the transmission, the wiring harness, the ECU, and the quick shifter.
God, I forgot about all that.
The bobber, you know, we still have we still have some wrinkles to iron out, as you know, we still haven't really road ridden the bike, so I'm sure there's going to be some stuff that's going to come up on there that's going to need to be ironed out a bit. We'll let you know when the Panigale's done.
Yeah.
That might be the...
I'm hoping the Panigale continues along its path of being... I mean, it's a Ducati, so, like, there's that, but though, it's run pretty well. Like, we haven't missed a week yet.
No, it's been going pretty smoothly.
I'm pretty proud of it.
The stuff that we encountered today was probably our first hiccup.
Yeah.
With not the right tools or the right hardware or whatever the case may be. My favorite to do personally is going to be the bobber, because a lot of what went on that machine was kind of my idea.
You like the way you're content with how the bobber came out?
I'm happy. I'm happy with the way that it looks visually. I rode it for a very short period of time, and that ride seemed to go just fine.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with the bobber.
Brian is currently the only person that has ridden the bobber on the street. 2
miles.
Yeah,
1 mile up,
far.
1 mile back.
I don't know who.
That's all right.
Sweet. As long as they run away. What's been your favorite bike for Wreck Bike Rebel to work on?
I've only worked on the bobber, so.
Me and you messed around with the ZX10 in the garage as we pulled our hair out a lot.
Right.
Like the X10 was a blast to fucking ride though.
Oh yeah, you were the one.
I didn't get to ride that bike.
You didn't get to ride. Luke rode the ZX10 for the reveal video, and all I heard was how terrifying that bike was to ride. I need to reach out to Richard to see how that bike is right now, because it was something.
It's parked in the garage with a shit stain on the seat.
I hope so, because dude,
that bike
like
gets up and goes.
Yeah, ZX10s. I mean, that's really what Kawasaki is known for, is their horsepower.
Yeah.
How hard they put it down.
Like it's
a little like it's like a wild horse that got beat and then was held in a stable and then like got let out. Like that's how it feels pissed off.
The power comes on like if you go outside to your faucet outside and you turn it on, it has city pressure and you can just keep on turning it on. You're like, oh, that's a lot of water, and then you can just keep on turning it on and it's just running at 1,000 gallons a second. It's insane. Like you crack it open and it's like, whoa, wait a second, no, stop.
Still keeps going.
Yeah.
Like you can turn the grip around and around and it still feeds you more and more power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It hauls.
I don't know if Richard is still part of Patreon, but I hope you're okay, buddy. I hope you're okay with that thing. It was a lot. What stats are we already did that? Are the fairings going to change colors or remain white? So I assume he's saying
what color is
he's asking what,
going to be?
So Joseph, we're not going to say what color the Panigale is going to be, but we can say two things. It's not going to be pink, and
it's not going to be white.
There you go.
Ooh.
We'll keep playing this game, and eventually the colors will be revealed.
All the questions are going to be: is it going to be purple? Is it going to be blue?
Right.
Is it going to be pink?
It'll be Justin Hill who comments, Luke, why is the bobber not green, and if so, why is it not purple? Like he'll be the one to ask some like.
Oh, that's the.
Yeah, your personal record.
Justin, your comment cracked me up in response to my response of your response.
Oh my god! I almost look forward to seeing what comes next out of Justin. So you've got a bar to set now. Or you've set your bar, and we expect that bar to be.
Yeah, your personal record has been established.
Yes, personal record. I love it. Okay, we're at 56 minutes plus the extra stuff because this thing stopped as usual.
It did?
Only for a minute. That's why I had it over here because I don't trust it. All right, guys, that's going to be it for episode 3 of the Q&A. These are fun to do. We look forward to doing more of these.
So silly.
I know. We get to just take a damn second and chill and not have to be like...
What's next?
Right.
What's the next part? How does that go on?
Yeah, exactly. Like how...
Chase, stop what you're doing. Don't break it.
Right. Where are we at in the video? Should we stop now? Is it too long? Is the camera working? Why is the audio bad? These are what we typically deal with. We don't have to deal with this much here. Anyway, thank you guys for watching the Q&A. Hopefully you guys enjoy these. And if you want to get your question answered, or if we didn't answer all of what you wanted to know, look for the next time we ask for Q&A submissions. Today was kind of a... You guys had like a couple hours beforehand, but the questions were awesome, so you guys did great on that. And we'll try to do more of these as much as we can. But that's all, and goodbye.